right, I think we're gonna get started. So turn this off. And I posted this in a fit of pique this afternoon, and y'all are some funny motherfuckers. It's Romano Lau from her profile for her art from BattleTech Legends. Oh, that's loud. Okay, my bad. Let's see. Mic settings. Mic volume. All right. How's that? Is that better? Less violent? All right. But yeah, so I posted this in a fit of pique because I thought this was funny and it made me laugh. And everybody else just started piling on, and y'all are some funny dudes. Y'all just really made me laugh really hard. So this one got me. Found it funny how they made one of the most insane MFs in BattleTech look like the type of ABG Fine G that Passport Bros would absolutely fawn over. That's a good line. That is really funny. So, yeah, I figure we'll start off slow because I am beat. Last night I had no power from about 7 p.m. right when last night's stream cut off until about 2 o'clock this afternoon. And then my internet finally decided to unscrew itself, and it's fine now. So it's just like, Jesus Christ, this is a mess. And I slept like crap because it was a million degrees. So this might be a little bit on the short side, but at the same time, I'm just gonna ref, So I figure we'll start off with, meme review, which is, Romano Lau slander, which is fine. And let's see, there's really nothing. I really didn't post anything else because I was focusing on staying hydrated and not dying from the heat yesterday because I didn't have any electricity. So let's check up on the Catalyst Kickstarters to kill a little bit of time, shall we? Because this is always good for a laugh. Oh, Frostpunk. When's the collaborator? Updates? No updates since May. I wonder how the comment section is looking. July 2nd, nothing in sight. Ready to come on and anything, most likely the community will jump on them if they do. Is this project even alive? June the 2nd, any word? Yeah, so this is dead project. Feels like 30 or something with the Republic of the Sphere on it. Let me actually see if I can pull up YouTube. Let's see.
The effects of what was going on back then were different than they are today. It's not as brutal as it was back then as it is today.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh boy. I was listening to something spicy before I started the stream. Core box. Here we go. Yeah. Okay, so these guys, this is nice and short, so hopefully. Oh, so this is just the miniatures. Okay. So that's Mad Cat Mark II. That's looking pretty sharp. Yeah, man, I like the Mad Cat Mark II. It's such a fun mech to outfit in Mech Warrior 4 Vengeance. Vulture Mark IV. It's pretty good looking. Well, they're really taking their time with these spins, aren't they? The Hollander, I think, is a very strange choice to incorporate into this particular box set because it's such a it does one thing. It does one thing kind of in a very mediocre fashion. So this is kind of odd. The Solitaire, again, it's really odd inclusion. As far as mechs goes, it's a Diamond Shark mech. Originally, it was a Diamond Shark mech, and then Diamond Shark became Sea Fox because they had an identity crisis. It's not a bad mech. It's really fast. It hits like a train. I like the Uziel. I like this version of the miniature. It tickles me right in the Mech Warrior 4 Mercenaries feels. It looks like they've got good detail on like the spurs, kind of the things, kind of these crash guards that keep parts from rubbing off on one another. And then the Rakshasa, my beloved. Rakshasa actually looked really good. I really like the look of that. I think they did a really good job kind of updating it, and they're bringing the Eris back, which they released as a premium multi-part mech back when they were trying to do that, and I guess they just gave up on that, which is probably for the better because those models were kind of ass. Looks good. The Regent, new Regent variant. I'm not sure which version that is. I am not as up to snuff on my whatchamacallit, my Ill-Clan mechtisms. So that's good. And GMG reviews, I like this guy. He does a really good job, generally speaking, of kind of covering the stuff. So he's got both the starter box and the core box. Honestly, that's what I'm thinking. Okay, so this is the interesting thing. So let's pause and see if so he's got this is a very basic record sheet. It doesn't have all the high-tech bull crap that this particular mech has, because I believe it has TSM. It's got all sorts of it's got TSM. It's got claws on its hands. It's got micro lasers or ER smalls. And it's got a bunch of like really niche high-tier equipment. Yeah, I think the reason they're pushing the Regent, it's because it's one of the big mechs that they came up with, even though it's just a riff off of the Hauptmann, the Leland Hauptmann Omnimech, because that's literally what it is. That's in its fiction. So it's very mysterious to me that they are trying to riff off of that. So he's got all right. So here's here's kind of the pilot cards and descriptions of stuff that you get in the box. You get the universe guide, and this is 3152. Yeah, it's got TSM, it's got stealth armor, supercharger, and ESM. Yeah, it's like that's not a very starter friendly mech. That's going to be my biggest concern is once I get product in hand and actually see how they handle it. I think that will be actually very interesting and useful. I think the other interesting and useful thing is that you will get the basic core rules, kind of your introductory rules. Yeah, the Hammerhead has hardened armor, and it's got actuator enhancement systems in both legs. That sheet's pretty good. From what I've seen already, I think it's pretty good. So, it's pretty hard to screw up a Battletech map sheet. So, yeah. So that's the starter box, and this is the core box, and we've already kind of seen the miniatures, and he's just sifting through the cards here. So yeah, so he doesn't do a great job of showing off the mechs. And then now interesting is it looked like this it looks like hidden movement. Oh, those are objective markers. Interesting. Okay. So we're actually getting dedicated objective markers, as well as spots for buildings and whatnot. And again, two really good map sheets. So fairly basic map sheets, nothing to write home about. Now this actually, so this thing that he's showing off right here is a hit location chart. So instead of having to have the book open in front of you, you can just have this reference card next to your record sheets, which I actually think is a really nice touch, and I think that's going to be just such a nice thing for players to get to grips with. And then it's got the cluster hits table on the back. So again, two of your most commonly used charts in BattleTech, the cluster hits, as well as the whatchamacallit, the hit location table. That's actually really nice. I really like that a lot. So you can avoid having to memorize that shit just all the time. So I actually like that a bunch. That's actually such a nice little quality of life thing. So you have kind of your universe guide. And this is, again, plants the timeline very firmly in 3152. So volcano map sheets, it's a lot of open terrain with no, yeah, that's weird. Huh. Okay, and it's got kind of, the archetypes for the different mechs in the box, so that's interesting. And some of the other mechs that you can get. They have a core rule book, which is actually, looks like it's fairly complete. It's got what looks like 46-page book, according to, 46 pages. So it's gonna be interesting. Lower leg actuator. So this is critical. Oh no, it's got missions. Interesting. Okay, so I think what they're going to try to do is they're going to try to make this more pickup game friendly, which I don't know how I feel about that. Like, one of the beautiful things about BattleTech is that its nature as a system allows you to tailor the experience to your group of friends. I've always said that BattleTech is it's a role-playing game system masquerading as a tabletop war game. I've always said that because it kind of is. And part of that RPG, it's less a rule set and more like a rule toolbox. You have the ability to kind of tailor your experience to, the group of people that you're playing, as opposed to just rolling a d6, picking a mission, rolling off, and then whoever wins picks the mission, and then table sides, that kind of thing. So honestly, yeah, that's a good point. But that's the thing about Catalyst, is they never do things in a timely fashion, it seems like. So, but I think I'm going to be optimistic. I'm actually going to be glass half full on this one. If they pull this off and they actually make it worthwhile as far as like a buy, and the core rule book is actually as cleaned up and as linguistically complete as people think it's going to be, I think that's going to be really neat. So I think that's going to be a huge boon to that. And it's funny, it looks like you're getting more content in this box, and it's still somehow cheaper than BattleTech Gothic. Why? Don't know. But yeah. So I don't know. I'm cautiously optimistic about the new core rule box. I made my feelings known that I think calling it a core rule box is kind of yuck. It's kind of a boring title. It's very generic, as opposed to I don't know that they're. I think what they're doing is they're trying to make the mechs the center of the game again, which is like the mechs have always been the center of the game. So I don't know why you need to push it that hard. I think the battlefield support cards are a way to get a bigger spectacle on the table, faster. And I think one of the core takeaways that I'm seeing a lot of these changes is that they're driving that speed of play experience so that games don't take, like a lance on lance engagement doesn't take 2 hours, it doesn't take an hour and a half. They want that to be like, okay, I want to be able to play with my mechs, and I want to bring battle armor, and I want to bring tanks or this, that, or the other thing. And I don't want that game to take all goddamn night. Like that's actually that's a laudable goal. I don't know how that's going to work out for them, but I think that's a laudable goal if they're able to pull it off. And nothing about Catalyst Game Labs screams I'm able to pull this off. But speaking of Catalyst Game Labs, no update since May, and they said that they're gonna update monthly, so we're off to a strong start. Leviathans, still no update after they committed to doing monthly updates. This fucking game is just now starting to be fulfilled after it was funded back in 2023. Yeah. Like, can we be honest with ourselves? Stop trying to make Shadowrun happen, Catalyst Game Labs. It's not going to happen. It's like that scene in Mean Girls. It's like, that's so fetch. Stop trying to make fetch a thing. It's not a thing. It's not going to be a thing. Stop trying to make Shadowrun a thing, Catalyst. Spin off the IP and unburden yourself of the two authors that you got from that setting, Brian Young and Russell Zimmerman. And, just stop with the Shadowrun. Oh yeah, you better remember this. They said they were going to launch a Kickstarter for this mysterious literal Who game, and this was a Kickstarter page created back when, I want to say right around the Mercenaries timeline, and everybody was like, why are you doing a new game and a new Kickstarter? You haven't finished the last Kickstarters. And they're like, don't worry about it. So, all right, rant over. So, boy howdy, the ghosts of Timkovichi. Holy shit. So, where we last left our intrepid window lickers, it came out that after they arrived back on Ark Royal, they're like, hey, as Planet Timkovichi, they want their independence, and they want the Calhounds' help to do it. So Colonel Mallory says, sure, I'll take on the mission. That's fine. And it turns out that the Colonel's, the Hank Mallory character's son, wants to join him for this mission. And apparently there's some estrangement, and they haven't talked in like 10 years, and it's awkward, and it's weird, and it's family drama nonsense, right? All right, so we're off to a strong start. So we start off, they start going through, and they start talking about, like, lifting off Chapter 6, Things That Might Distract. At Raumhafen Spaceport, Old Connaught, Ark Royal Liberty Coalition, 30th July, 3152. So they're getting ready to lift, and the colonel comes up, talks to this Major Ilsa Escalera, and they're kind of just rapping back and forth about, hey, are we ready? Cool. Yeah, no, okay, so good job. And then Calendar Kel comes in with her what's that her tank, what's it called, SM-5. So she's got her SM-5 hover tank destroyer. She rocks up to the drop ship. She drops off the Colonel Hank's son, and basically says, "Here, he's your problem now. He's your problem now." Everybody's like, "All right, cool." And so if we remember from the prologue, right? Calendar Kell was actually on Timkovichi. Like, and then she was like, she just like fucked off. She left a monument there and she just left the planet. As opposed, she had a fortress dropship full of mechs and vehicles and infantry that she could have easily raffle stomped whatever Jade Falcon holdout forces there were left over, the seeds and stems, if you will, that the Jade Falcon is left over to keep an eye on the planet while the rest of them went to die in the mud on Terra. And she just didn't do that. She instead left a monument, talked to a weird journalist, and then left. So the whole conceit of this book doesn't make any sense on its face, because she's like, okay, I'm going back to this planet where the Jade Falcons basically like destroyed the Calhoun's integrity as a unit. We're going to go back, we're going to drop this monument, and then we're going to leave. I have a dropship full of pissed off Kellhounds and enough firepower to level several cities, but we're just going to leave. And it's like, why? But why? Yeah, exactly. It was just probably a Saloma unit. And it's like, okay, why would you just leave a monument there? You literally dropped a fortress dropship onto the planet, and you burned all that fuel to land, and then you just left. And the only thing that you did was leave a monument to the dead, the Calhounds, which is like, okay, that's fine. But you could probably, just roll up the Jade Falcons while you're there. Like, it's literally would have been that easy. So let's see. How many fucking pages does this piece of shit have? So all 389 pages of this book could have been wrapped up in a shrapnel short story. And now that I've just worked that through in my head and that I'm talking about it after I read it, I am supremely angry. I am supremely angry that I'm having to reach this book. Cool Tactics. I have not yet. I'm sure it's coming. Literally and figuratively. Waka waka. But yeah, exactly. So it's, for me, it's like this whole the whole premise of this book is void on its face, because Calendar Kell was literally on Timkovichi, and she could have just rolled up whoever was there. And if she couldn't have rolled up whatever was there, she probably could have done enough damage to basically neuter whatever forces were there and then lift off. And then you would have a book like, hey, we went to Timkovichi, we tried to take it back, we were unsuccessful. As far as we know, there's still Jade Falcon holdouts. The Lyrans are muscling in. I want you to go and liberate them. Then you have a story. Okay, cool. So you have maybe like the first, quarter of the book, you have Calendar Kell. Yeah, it's kind of interspersed with Calendar doing her thing, and then you have the Ghost Dogs doing their thing, and then they finally get the mother hen calling her chickens home. Yeah, exactly, Gavin. A fortress would be a lethal amount of weaponry and support. So it's like, okay, but they didn't do that. So Brian Young is trying to write this military inspiring speech that kind of it's trying to be this very Patton-esque crank turner of a speech to get everybody wound up. And he's like, Timkovichi is under threat. It is where the Kellhounds were reborn. It's where my uncle died. It's where the Jade Falcons declared war on our people and never stopped that lethal hunt. I challenge each of you to free the people of Timkovichi, regardless of whether they want to join the Ark Royal Liberty Coalition or not. We were there when the Jade Falcons decided that they would rather commit genocide than fight us fairly. Brian Young, you keep on using that word. I do not think it means what you think it means. So, it's like, are we saying the Kellhounds are a race of people now? Like that's racial. So, and so she's kind of going, and she's wandering, and then the Elsa character, the major Elsa character from the Ghost Dog, she's looking around. She's kind of trying to keep an eye on their new recruits, the Sib cadets that they captured on Kirkcaldy, I think it was. They're just like standing there staring autistically straight ahead because they're clanners. They probably are. And then these two fuck asses that Brian Young insisted of including these two anarchists, which is like, why would you have anarchists in your military unit? Those two things don't overlap. So then she glanced over at Gilchrist and Taylor, who had never been Kellhounds and perhaps never knew this part of their history, but they stood at their lazy sort of attention, only half listening like they ever did, reliable but full of attitude. I don't know if Brian Young is trying to endear these characters to us, but they just sound like assholes. Like, they sound like the smarmy, pretentious jerkweeds that you would come across in, like, I don't know if anybody here is from, the great state of Michigan, but we have this city here in Ann Arbor, and it's just full of pretentious old hippies and yuppie scum. And like, I feel like these guys, the two anarchists that are in the Ghost Dog units, would again, I would see these two assholes like sitting having coffee, an overpriced coffee at a coffee house in Ann Arbor, Michigan. So, and it's like, immediately I just despise these people because the mental, like, he hasn't described them at all. I have no clue what these people look like. None. Hasn't described them once, other than, oh yeah, they're anarchists. And it's like, okay, and like, I can put a phenotype to that picture, and it's like that Facebook page. Of course they look like that. It's just called, like, of course they look like that. So I'm predicting somebody that has a really terrible emo haircut, or maybe looks like balding, jowly with no neck, kind of like one of the septum piercing. So I'm picturing some sort of ugly jowly guy that has to be 500 yards away from the nearest school or daycare. Like, I'm just picturing these guys in my head. Yeah, I do. Yeah. So yeah, but it's like he keeps like coming back to these characters, and I'm just like, you keep telling me what these assholes are doing, and I just don't care. Like, I have no reason to care about these guys. The only reason I'm locked in on them is because you have people that don't believe in governments or authority because they're anarchists, and you gave them tanks. Well, are you stupid? You know what? We'll get there. So we'll get there. Yes, because everybody's stupid. So the colonel continued. Now, excuse me one second. All right, I have to prepare my voice for this because I promised somebody back when I thought I was going to just be reading this, a full chapter on stream as opposed to, excerpts and comment thing on it, because somebody brought up like, hey, that's a copyright thing. This guy said, I want you to do a reading in the manner of RFK, Robert F. Kennedy, our current Secretary of Health. So I'm going to do my best. I hope that asshole is listening to me right now. I don't know if he is or not. The colonel continued, "This is what we owe the people there. And since Colonel Mallory was there, one of the few survivors of the Falcon massacre on Timkovichi, I thought it would be appropriate if his unit had worms in my brain, acting on behalf of the Kel House and the Ark Royal Liberty Coalition, were to go and take Timkovichi and give the people their freedom they deserve." Holy shit, I'm not doing that again. Oh my god. He wanted me to read an entire chapter like that. So Calendar Kell is giving this Patton-esque speech, and then the Major Ilsa, it was a rousing speech. It managed to tingle the hairs at the back of Ilsa's neck. Goose flesh rippled across her arms. Like, dude, don't tell me how people are reacting to it. Write a speech that has an emotional impact. And one of the other things that we find out in this chapter, chapter 6, is that they're kind of retreading over the fact that they're Kellhounds. Like, the Ghost Dogs are originally Kellhounds, and that's where they originated from as a unit. They spun off because they basically had to change their name, change their colors, change their MRBC registry to avoid the Jade Falcons, like sending a dropship full of troops after him and killing him 2-1. So that's why they became the Ghost Dogs. And they already kind of talk about this in the previous chapters when they kind of get the recall order. And then you have this chapter where they're like, oh, but nobody really knows that they're actually Kellhounds. It's like, motherfucker, yes they do. You talked about it in a couple of chapters past, like 2 chapters ago. Like, are you what? Okay, so Ilsa apparently didn't know that the colonel was on Timkovichi. So this part bothered me too. When my great-grandfather and his brother founded the Kellhounds, the colonel continued, they wanted a mercenary unit so infamous that when they came to end a conflict, their very reputation might end it before a single shot was fired. Bitch, where? Brain Young, I'm pretty sure you're just making that up. I think you're, yeah, so I don't think that's right. I don't think that's the thing. The unit, so she gave this big speech, and then the unit offered a cheer at her rousing words. This speech that she gave was as dull as dishwater, and I'm not going to pretend like it made me feel anything in my heart other than like, wow, this guy can't write fucking a speech. So let's see, where do we go from there? So they gives them the good luck, Godspeed. She hands off Sergeant Keith Mallory, the Colonel Mallory's son, and the Major Ilsa, she's like, huh, I didn't know he had a son. And the son's like, is that a problem? He's like, no. So they get ready to lift off. Now they're on the drop ship, burning away from Ark Royal, and Ilsa is trying to play this, like this shitty counselor Troy, like a way shittier, like a Timu counselor Troy to the Major, and he's like, I'd rather not talk about it because I'm a man and I don't want to talk about my emotions. Like I said, I don't want to pry, Ilsa said, but I'm your ex. That's an awkward. Like I said, I don't want to pry, Ilsa said. That's awkward. That just reads awkward. I would have changed that. But I'm your XO, and I need to know what I'm dealing with here. This isn't a family issue anymore. It's a personnel issue. See, this is actually the first reasonable thing that I've actually heard out of these people's mouth is like, hey, I don't care about your family dynamics, but if this is going to screw with our unit cohesion, we need to knock this out. We need to address this. So he comes out. We haven't spoken in a while. I don't know what the issue is, and I don't know what issue it would cause, Hank said, seated at his desk in his ready room on the dropship. Why would he want to transfer over to us? Hank shrugged. You'd have to ask him. He certainly didn't ask me before he did it, and we haven't spoken about that or anything yet. So they kind of go back and forth, talking about like, oh, why? I don't want to talk about it, but you should talk about it. I don't want to. You should address it. I don't want to. You should address it. I'll address it eventually. So it's just this a page and a half of this bullshit, just back and forth, and then finally he kind of caves and says, "I'll see what I can do. Thank you, sir. In the meantime, what do we do about his position? We don't have a mech for him." So this dizzy bitch, Calendar Kell, dumps this guy's son on him, who's a mech warrior, and just doesn't give him a mech. Doesn't send his mech with him. Why? Like, what sense does that make? Like, it doesn't. There's no reason for it to be like, yeah, I'm sending him with you, but I'm not going to I'm not going to send his mech with him. Like, I'm at a loss for words. Like, that's dumb. It's just dumb. So we have some scraps we might be able to piece together on the journey to Timkovichi, but nothing really worthy of fighting. There'll be plenty of salvage on Timkovichi. I'm not sure why Colonel Kell didn't send him with his mech. Don't create a plot hole and then point out the plot hole. It's not clever. It's not clever for your characters to point out the plot hole. Stop it. So basically they figure out, yeah, we'll let him write a desk for a little bit and let him do admin tasks because we don't have anything. Yeah, plenty of salvage from a planet that they haven't landed at, for combat that they haven't participated in. So yeah, again, he's just hoping that this is the case. Hoping that they're successful, hoping that they, these people don't have really much of a fucking plan either. And the millennial vernacular really bothers me about the way that everybody talks in this. And as a millennial writing and its consequences have been a disaster for mankind. So he's talking about like, hey, what do you want to do with the X-Falcons? They basically say, hey, they're gonna have ride-alongs in our tanks, which is like, that sounds like a terrible idea. And it's like, oh, it'll get them used to being shot at. And it's like, the 3 Jade Falcons that have been raiding the planet of Kirkaldy, you literally had to shoot them out of their mechs. And you're worried how they'll perform under fire. It's like he didn't go back and read his earlier chapters. It's like he wrote a chapter and then like he just memory hold it. Yeah, exactly. Come on, my ride along in a Hetzer. Yeah, exactly. I'm Johnny Knoxville. Welcome to Jackass. Today we're in a Hetzer doing a ride along. So it's like there's quite a few instances, and I'm not even, this is chapter 6. I read 3 chapters today because if I don't start reading 3 or 4 at a clip, I'm never going to finish this godforsaken book. So it's like he references stuff that happens, and then he acts like they don't happen later in the book. Like, I don't understand. So, but again, going back to the millennial vernacular, Jason, I'm wondering because, dear God, he is. It's dear God, I don't even know like how that will. Like, I don't even know how that would even work with this, because he does keep churning out books. He's like Stephen King in the 90s. He keeps churning out books, but the books he's churning out are 90s Stephen King quality. Like, they're just batshit coke driven, stimulant driven, clusters of words that are thrown together and published. Like, I just don't understand. I don't understand how he's so productive unless he is using AI. I don't know that he is. I don't believe that he is. I just think he's a really fast writer, but he's really ass at it. So, anyways, going back to the way that people talk. Elsa resisted the urge to shrug. Those kids were born in a vat with the express purpose of being sent into battle with all possible speed. I know it's been a decade since you talked to him, but your son is a grown-ass man. Grown-ass man. And a ranked Kellhound non-com to boot. He's the perfect person to lead that lance if we put it together. So basically what they're spitballing is like, okay, what if we salvage form, on the off chance that we salvage Formax, we'll stick the 3 clanners in those mechs, and then we'll jump the rest of the guys. We'll get his son to do to be Lance leader. And it's like, okay. Mind you, they have 3 lances of mechs in a Union dropship. Oh my God, I just realized this. Oh my God, I just realized this. So they're in a Union dropship. The dropship is called the Flying Dutchman. They've got 3 lances, so that's a company. And then they also have vehicle support in the dropship. Which maybe you could do that if you stripped out the fighter base, but not enough for mechs, not enough for vehicles and infantry. I don't. Ugh. Yeah, so anywho, so they're, so they basically, this is a nothing chapter. This is basically Colonel Calendar shows up, drops the son off, says some words, she fucks off. And then, you have the character dialogue between the Colonel and Ilsa, the Hank and the Elsa character, where it's like, you should talk about this. I don't want to. You should talk to him. I don't want to. So, chapter 7. There for those who care. Union class dropship, the Flying Dutchman, nadir jump point, Atacongo, Lyran Commonwealth, 14th August 3152. Colonel Hank Mallory pulled himself towards the mess hall, hoping he could sneak in and out before anyone noticed him. You are the ranking officer in your unit. Why are you sneaking around your dropship, trying to avoid people? Like, that's a good way to establish that you're an empty rank. Like, you're an empty suit. Like, there's nobody. You're an empty uniform, basically, and that you're deliberately avoiding talking to people because you're gonna screw up and get them all killed. Like, that's a great way to establish that. It's like, hey, I haven't seen the Colonel around a whole lot. Have you heard anything from him? Nah, he comes in really late at night. Okay, why? I don't know. I think he's trying to avoid us. It's like, that would not be great for morale. So anyways, so he's like, in the middle of the night, he's trying to go eat, and let's see. Over the course of the journey, he'd done a pretty good job of remaining aloof and unbothered. After Colonel Kell's speech, in which she told his unit everything he didn't want to start answering questions about his time on Timkovichi until he was ready. So, again, from a leadership perspective, like that's just, especially the fact that you were on Timkovichi and that this all should have come out when you were having the come to Jesus meeting with your crew. Like, hey, the ghost dogs were actually the Kellhounds. We were a part of the Kellhounds Wolfhound Battalion. So we're getting recalled to Ark Royal, and to establish my credibility. I had to tell you guys some lies to make sure that our past was clean, so the Jade Falcons wouldn't come knocking on our door and kill everybody. Gambler Raven, cool, yeah. So this all should have come out from him talking to his people. Like, he should not have left this to have Colonel Kell do this, because that's damaging to trust, that's damaging to morale. So he shouldn't have done that. And that's never addressed in this chapter or the following chapter. It's just not a thing that everybody is like, okay, this guy lied to us about this, or he didn't tell us, he was lied by omission about, this, that, or the other thing. So what other things isn't he telling us? What other things will he hide from us? And could these things that he's hiding from us potentially get us killed? I think that's a reasonable thing to explore as far as like unit dynamics. And they're on a drop ship. They've got nothing but time, and you have nothing about these characters that are particularly interesting other than Hank and Ilsa and the anarchists. And the only reason I know about I can remember the anarchists is because it's such a dumb fucking idea. So yeah, so we're off to a bad start with this book, and we're only chapter 7 in. So he goes in, finds out that his son is sitting there, and they have an awkward, stilted conversation. And yeah, because they were him and the mom were divorced. Hank and his wife had parted on bad terms, and then she'd been killed in action. He had never really had a chance to repair that relationship, even if he wanted to, and they had always driven each other up the wall, so he wasn't sure what good reconciliation would have done anyways. So, Keith said. Keith is the Colonel Hank's son. Airlock therapy season, yeah. So, Hank echoed. You look well. It's good to see you. It's good to see you too. Listen, I'm sorry I haven't made time for you to see you before now. And it's like, dude, what the fuck? You're just lying. You're transparently lying. Like, your son's 35. Like, you're retarded. Stop it. It's fine, the kid said. Though it probably wasn't fair to call him a kid anymore. He was almost 30, I'm sorry, and a man of his own now, with rank and station in the Kellhounds organization. It's not fine, Hank found the strength to say. I was being a coward. I've been afraid of our conversation now would go like our last one, and then we'd be stuck in this tin can with nowhere to escape from each other. Keith took another mouthful of his nutrient paste, sucking the last bit from the tube. Whoa, sexy. A lot's changed since then. Is that why you asked to sign on with the Ghost Dogs? Honestly, there's a lot of reasons. But it felt right when I did it, and I don't think I regret it yet. So they keep going back and forth, having this nothing. Yeah, I'm tired of the bad parents trope too, bud. Like I get it. I'm divorced. I have those feelings of inadequacy about having to put my kids through that process. Fortunately for me, really fortunately for me, that was a really bloodless process, and her mom and I are actually reconciling on really good terms. We probably actually communicate better than we ever did when we were married, which is ironic. But you still have that feeling as a man, like just sitting like a fucking rock in your gut, where it's like, man, woulda, shoulda, coulda. I could have been better. I could have done this, because that's a man thing to worry about. This guy is just ducking responsibility and accountability for what he's done, like he's female. Like, Brian Young has written Hank Mallory as a female, dodging his accountability. So it's like, geez, okay, all right. So of course, as they're starting to kind of crack open the shell a little bit, Ilsa comes in. Timkovichi, sir, the communique for you is labeled urgent. So they talk, they part ways. Hank's talking to Ilsa, and she says, "We have a message from Colonel Kell's mysterious contact on Timkovichi. Seems like she knew which route. Jesus. Seems like they knew which route we would take and beamed us a message from a passing courier ship." So we know this guy is male. Why are you using an indefinite pronoun? Why are you using they? Like, is this guy bi and we just don't know about it? Is this something that's going to come up later in the story? Is this going to be pertinent to his character? What is with the awkward fucking pronoun usage? And beamed us a message from a passing courier ship using the narrowband. They call themselves the Troubadour. Oh, this is the old Tom Frost. He was him and Blind Melon Shetland. They were on the ruins of Greywalk on Timkovichi, tuning up their guitars. Like, what the fuck, dude? Shut up. So, if you remember, the prologue was this guy named Old Tom Frost that was basically writing a song in the ruins of a war crime ruins where the Jade Falcons level the city. And Calendar Cal found him and talked to him and basically said, "Hey, tell everybody we're coming for him, just not today." And then she fucked off back to Ark Royal instead of doing what she was supposed to do. So that was the prologue. Prologue with this book is nonsense. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're gonna meet the outlaws. I flew a starship across the universe divide. Ugh, my Johnny Cash is terrible. The Troubadour, it's like a medieval minstrel, really into courtly love, sort of like a wandering singer in a raconteur. A bard? I know what a troubadour is. Just an interesting choice of code name is all. So, like, what is this interaction? Like it feels like they're trying to banter back and forth, but it just seems like they're both fucking morons, and it's really exasperating the way they're talking to each other. The dialogue in this book is ass. Hank, the message read like a warning, but with an art to it, even after the decryption ran its course, apparently written by someone who fancied themselves a poet. Hank speed read the message, then read it again carefully to make sure he understood the details. He looked up at Elsa. It looks like we've got our first fight on our hands, and we haven't even made it in system. That sketch was in Major League 3. So they basically start kind of bantering, going back and forth like, hey, how reliable is this guy? How reliable is this information? We could be walking into a trap. How do we get there? So we were always fully aware we could be walking into a trap. That's just our bag. That's just my bag, baby, yeah. But according to this, an entire city is going to be invaded, and lots of people are going to die if we can't find a way to fortify the town before the Lyran mercenary forces march against it. We have to remember it could amount to nothing, too. It's hard to predict an attack on a location that far in advance. Maybe this troubadour has faulty information, or maybe it's old by the time we're on planet. We've got a little bit more than 9 days of burn. As soon as we hit the system, this could all be over and done with by the time we get there. So he's actually doing something interesting here, which is you're establishing like, okay, shit could go sideways as soon as we land on the planet, or it might be, fait accompli by the time we actually hit dirt. So we have to drop our plans to compensate for this. And I was jumping ahead from the prayer chapter. So this is where they actually start to talk about like what they want to do with their falcons. Yeah. Set them up with Rufo and Charlie Lance for this engagement. Let them ride in the tanks. We'll see. Let them see the battle from that perspective. We'll see if they still want to be a mech warrior after that. My brother in Christ, they were mech warriors. What are we doing? What are we talking about? So they're kind of going back and forth about the SIP cadets, and then they're just like, fuck it, it's late, we'll go to sleep. We'll sleep on it. And then the next chapter is Chapter 8. A piece of the action. Union-class dropship, the Flying Dutchman. Low orbit, Timkovichi, the Hinterlands, 25th August, 3152. So they're talking to the roof. They're following around the Rufo person with the 3 Jade Falcons kind of walking after them. And the Jade Falcons are asking him, just basically like asking autistic detail military questions like, hey, why aren't you doing this? Hey, why aren't you doing this? Hi, why aren't you doing this? And this part kind of got my goat too. Rufo, and your lance will be the last to drop onto the surface of the planet, Ching Mai said in her clipped, contraction-less clan dialect. You don't have to say that. You can just say that she spoke she spoke very precisely. Said that in her, I don't know. There's a way that you could do that to make it less awkward. Rufo nodded, pointing to the space in the mech bay where the Condor hover tanks were strapped down and rigged up onto their scaffolded bays. The tanks go last. We want to get the big guns down there first. Why would you not let the smaller, faster units go first? Rufo just shrugged. We really don't have room on the dropship to carry the tanks. They're packs 2, sometimes 3 to a bay. So we've established that they already have this so we've already established that they have this dropship overloaded, or they did something to where they ripped out the aerospace bays to make room for the extra vehicles. But still, it's like that's not really a thing that happens. So they kind of go back and forth, and they talk about tanks and what they do, and what their job is. And so finally they hit dirt planetside. They landed under the cover of night and found the city of Radagast, a dense expanse of neo-mythic high-rises, utterly silent. What the fuck is neo-mythic? It's neo-mythic. High rises. So it's Neo Tokyo from Akira, is what he's describing. So I feel like there's a better way to describe that than me having to fucking Google what a neo-mythic high-rise would look like. Ugh. So they hit dirt, and then things start to go sideways like immediately. So they see 5 contacts coming in, and then they see 4 contacts coming in, and then they see 12 contacts coming in. Turns out the 12 contacts are vehicles. 5 contacts they've determined to be the clan forces, and then the other 4 are mercenary or the Lyran Commonwealth mercenaries. So, and during this entire time, you get to the Rufo character, and Rufo wondered what made this particular city so important, but it didn't matter. It became important because of mandates of their contract, and employment made it so. If they had to take the city and liberate the planet, that's really all that mattered if it got them paid, right? He didn't want to be so mercenary about it, but, well, he was a mercenary. This was sort of in his job description. You just didn't need that part. like we've established that these guys are mercenaries. Like the Kellhounds are kind of an upright, forthright organization as far as lucre soldiers go. But you can have guys in that, and that could be this guy's character trait where he is slightly more pragmatic and mercenary about it than the rest of his unit. But again, this Rufo character, this is the first bit of characterization I get about him, and we're fucking 8 chapters into the book. So, so they talk about the Lyrans, they talk about the Clanners, and Rufo goes, "Oh, great, we get to be in the middle of a death cult sandwich." So, death cult sandwich, which makes no goddamn sense, because the Lyran mercenaries certainly aren't a death cult. The Jade Falcons, it could be argued that they could be, because they might be some pants on head, crazy Mongol Crusader Jade Falcons. But that doesn't make any sense. That line doesn't need to exist. Or that line could have been much better written, where it's like, oh, we're stuck in the middle of a, I don't know. My brain is fried from exhaustion, from heat today, so don't ask me to think too much. But basically, that's an awkward line, and he says it over open comms, and you can, I don't know, just like everything about these characters interplay and interactions with each other just indicates to me that nobody has any military discipline. And combined with the fact that the Colonel Hank Mallory character, he's kind of this, oh shucks, oh gee whiz, I sure would like it if you came do the thing that I ordered you to do. Like he has no authority. He's asking people to do things in a very like feminine way of, would you kindly, would you please, I would like it, I would, instead of saying, hey, do this, hey, enemy here, go kill, okay, hey, this is happening, go here. So like he's written basically a female character in Hank Mallory. Like he has no authority, he has no accountability, he has no forward leadership ability. He's just a bad character. He's a male character with feminine traits, and I don't, as far as like him being accountable to himself, his mission and his men. So yeah, that's a weird set of choices. So things are going south. They're in the city. They're trying to set up a defensive perimeter, and roger that. Rufo's eyes widened and his mouth went dry as he saw the 12 pings on the map increase speed in their direction. He switched to his Lance's comm channel. Okay, Charlie Lance, this doesn't look good, but we're doing the best we can here. We've got a whole lot of contacts rolling in from the east. We need to find out who they are and stop them from taking the city. Taylor, I want your infantry to take positions on the rooftop and the eastern perimeter of Radagast with the shoulder-mounted rockets. Shoulder-mounted rockets. It's like he's describing this battle to a blind man. Like you're describing this like an SRM, a BattleTech SRM, infantry launcher to somebody that's never seen, any sort of ATGM before in their life. And I don't know that that's a good choice, because it's like, hey, set up a perimeter with your missiles. It's like, okay, so you as the reader, if you're a military autist like most BattleTech players are, like you can paint the picture in your head as to what that would look like, right? But no, he had to specify their shoulder mounted, so I don't know. Gilchrist, you've got the sharpest eyes. Get out there and tell me who's coming. If they're friendly, great. Doubt it, but that would be awesome. If not, paint the target, send the telemetry, and get your ass back here. This is not how military people talk. Just say, if they're friendly, break off, come back. if they're not, paint the targets and send the telemetry and, fall back. Like, you don't need all this. Like, human beings don't talk like this. The only people that talk like this are Brian Young's fucking BattleTech Destiny group. I'm pretty sure. So they're kind of going through this, and then they start. For some reason, he starts talking about the way the cities are organized. It's like it's a BattleTech city, right? So if you picture in your head like any tabletop map you've ever seen for BattleTech, there's no suburbs around it. It's just basically like open country. And so he actually starts to describe why there's no like suburbs. And it's like, why are we talking about this? Like, what does this fucking matter? I don't need this. This is about a half page of detail that I don't need. You could have just trimmed that. So, and again, looking at another line that bothers me is just this quippy, Marvel Comics-esque writing. That was the single advantage of being in a hover tank rather than a mech, the speed. He constantly admired how fast they moved. Moved is italicized for some reason. Sure, you could core one in a single hit with the right weapon, but a lucky hit on a mech could do the same thing. You could also get stepped on, which wouldn't be good, or kicked like a football right into the goalie's proverbial death net. Like, nobody talks like that. Like, if you're trying to give, like, in brief, like, why hover tank bad, you can say they're vulnerable to being kicked. They can be stepped on. They can be, they're fragile. Their only real defense is their speed. You can make that more interesting than, like, kicked like a football into goalie's proverbial death net. It's like, what? Jesus Christ. But that was the thing about piloting tanks and battle mechs. Any battlefield hot seat could burn up in an instant, which you could cut a big chunk of this bullshit that you just wrote and just finish the paragraph with that. So they are going back and forth, and they're talking. They finally find the unit, and looks like we've got a swarm of combined arms. Bunch of Scorpion tanks, a Badger transport, looks missile heavy, some Zephyrs. They're in blue-black night camo, wearing unit logos I don't recognize. Looks like a white circular field with a standing rabbit holding a bottle of booze. Mercenaries working with the Learwoods would be my guess. Brought in to even up the score against the Falcons. So, Bunui mercenaries. BNNUY, Bunui mercenaries. So we're off to a good start. So basically, they figure out, hey, these guys aren't popping rounds off at us, so we're gonna not shoot back and see what happens. Which is like, okay, I guess that's we do that. So gotta get a Dynasty game with you and the other favorite CGL YouTubers call the campaign Unseen and Obscene. Yeah, right. Well, so that was the 3 chapters that I read, and I read the first couple of paragraphs of chapter 8. It's not looking good, chat. So, Jesus Christ, this is like, I don't know if I'm just exhausted from the heat or like this has just been like frying my fucking brain. Like, this is so bad. Human beings don't talk like this. Military people especially don't talk like this to each other. They land on this planet with no particular plan in mind. Like, this is just not how BattleTech works. Like, on a fundamental level. Like, you establish, like, okay, because we got in chapter 6 where it's like, okay, we might be walking into a trap. Okay, how do we plan for that? We need to come up with a plan for, because they still had like 9 days after that conversation. They still had like 9 days before they hit Planetside to talk about this. So it's like, okay, so let's plan if we land in an ambush. What's our exfil strategy? Okay, what if we get hit by one unit? What if we get hit by the Falcons and the Lyrans? How do we manage these things? Where are we going? What are we doing? Who goes what? These are all things that should have happened before they even left the dropship. Like, did they just not do any planning? Like, did they just like, oh, that sucks, and just jam their thumbs squarely up their ass and just go, I don't know, we'll it'll be fine. Let's just not worry. Have we tried not worrying about it and see what happens? Like, this is So yeah, chapters. What the hell did I read? I don't even know what I read. Yeah. So we're up to chapter 9, called Flame Keepers. Spicy. So, I am fresh out of words to say about this. This is terrible. This is probably one of the worst books that I've ever read. And I've read Far Country. I've read Black Library bolter porn, Warhammer 40k bolter porn that's more coherent than this book. Like, at least those books had something happening. There was like an overarching through line and a plot where the author actually went back and said, what the hell did I write? And he goes back and he's, oh, that's what I wrote. And he writes the book with the knowledge of the things that he just wrote. So I don't know. It just seems like we're retreading ground again and again and again and again in this book. And if that's the way this book is going to go, it's going to be extraordinarily tedious. So, but yeah, I am fresh out of gas, guys. I am exhausted. I'm probably going to hit the shower and go to bed after this because I am just wiped. But thank you guys for coming. I really appreciate it every time you guys show up. If you can, like, comment on the VOD, subscribe if you can. It helps with discoverability in the algorithm. I'm trying to get better at tagging my stuff appropriately to reach the right audience, but I need that little algorithm push from likes, comments, and whatnot. So if you're enjoying this content, please let me know. Anything I can do different or better, that kind of thing. So, and again, if you guys want to continue supporting me doing this stuff, my Ko-Fi link is in the description below. Again, I want to sincerely thank everybody that has lent me their time, their ears, their comments. It really means a whole bunch to me, and I'm really glad that we're able to spend this time together as a community. You guys make this possible, and that's no small thing, and I really appreciate that. So thank you guys very much. You guys have a great evening.